anywhere you can shove that.
Well, howdy. You know, we've been working on this truck for a long time. We started this channel 3 years ago with this truck. There's a lot of videos on that thing. Should be naming it clickbait. Anyway, today is no different, but we're gonna work on this yard art hot rod here for a minute first. It's to the point where it's in my way because we're not working on it, and it falls apart every time I walk past it. So we're gonna make it not fall apart. What's this part? I think it goes this. Actually, I don't even know if that's to this car. This might be a 3031 piece. Used to have a nice one of those. Sold it to help me move. Used to have a lot of cool old stuff. It was like a savings account. I could get anything I wanted. I just needed to look out back and see what I could sell. After moving twice, ending up 1,500 miles away from home, where the rest of it rotted away, I don't have much left. We'll just set it back in here. Anybody got a 2829 sedan door? This wheelbarrow here, this belonged to my great-great-grandpa, great-great-great. There's some greats in there. He had it on his farm, and then it ended up in my yard. And it was great until we moved down here, and you saw what happened to that old truck. Well, it's happening to all my cool old stuff, so I brought this inside so I can do something, maybe try to prevent that. But that's a project for another day. Okay, well, this is where we need to start. We got it squared up here, but it can still move around down here. So we're gonna have to brace that up for now. I think that'll do. We'll just set those 2x4 square tubing pieces down just as kind of a reference where we're going to put this. We'll have to make some measurements. That means we need probably a tape measure, eh? All right, we'll cut this piece here at about 51 inches, and that'll bring it kind of behind these pillars we made, just a little bit. I'd like to continue my collection, but there's nothing cool down here. Everything is made of money. Probably because everything cool rotted away. I did see a 59 pink Cadillac the other day. That was the coolest thing I've seen since I've been down here. And I didn't even see the whole thing. I just saw the fins. But I knew what it was. We are not setting out to build a really nice hot rod here. We're not setting out to do anything traditional. We're not really setting out to do anything. We're just gonna see what happens. I'm not gonna be worried about doing things the right way or the traditional way. None of that. We're just building a down and dirty hot rod with a rotten car that was sitting in my yard for 10 years. That's it. That's all. And you know what? We customize things around here. So if you found this video because we're working on a Model A, don't subscribe and then unsubscribe because you get mad because we, I don't know, do something crazy like put hydraulics on the thing. It could happen. If you can't get down with that, this probably isn't the channel for you. All right, moving on. So I'm no Model A historian by any means, but I'm pretty sure this line goes straight that way. I think it tapers in towards the cowl, but it goes straight like this. It doesn't dip or raise. So we can take our door top piece here, or whatever it's called. We'll just tack it into place for now. Just about like that'll do. You can pretty much see where it tapers in. So we'll have to kind of push that in like that. We'll give it a little tack. So I gave it a few. We got this one tacked in too, just right here, so it can still move around. I know that that one is where it needs to be. This one, not so much. So we're gonna try to base everything off of this one, and hopefully that works. We slide this cowl in there. Oh wait, we should do that top first. And this is kind of bent up, but it goes up here. Oh. Okay, well, whatever. It needs to be straightened out at least a little bit. We're not going crazy perfect with this, but we don't want it to be super messed up either. So straighten this, put it on the cowl, slide that back, line it up with the doors and everything. Yeah. You can see how it's bowed in here. We'll start by tapping that down. That'll actually straighten out quite a bit of it because it's all kind of pulling in towards that. Well, it ain't perfect, but we ain't going for perfect. Should do all right. It's straight enough. Rock me, mama, like the wind in the... See my tape measure? It's red. It says Milwaukee because home. Yeah, there it is on the floor. So here's what I got so far. Got that straightened and set up here on the cowl with these magnets. We'll have to straighten it out a little bit more here in the center once it's all welded on there. It's got a little wave in it. But then again, what doesn't on this car? Looking awfully straight. Maybe these should go back on. They were up on the top corners before somehow. I think they were kind of in there like this. Something like that. So actually, if we did tack this header panel in first, that wouldn't be a horrible idea. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. This is sitting there all right. We'll just kind of tack it where we can, and then we'll probably coat these with that rust encapsulator, and then we'll set them in there and weld them into place. Yeah, let's go. For all you Model A guys out there who are yelling at me right now saying, that's not how that goes, well, that's awesome that you know that and you remember that. I totally forgot how I took this apart. And it's gonna go together the way it goes together. I'm also looking for the other one of these. I know I kept it. I do know that, I just don't know where I put it. And since I'm more concerned about making videos than I am cleaning up around here, I can't find a dang thing. Well, that was a bigger pain in the butt than I even want to admit. But I got it tight together. It's not going to fall apart on us anymore. I even messed with the visor a little bit. After the chop, it was too long, so I had to section some out of the middle here. But that'll work. We're going to remake this corner here because I'd like the visor to have a contour that matches this. Because, is this going back together the way Henry did it? No, it is not. It's going back together the way that I am doing it. We'll end up making a whole frame around this hole in the roof. I'm making a roof section here. Maybe we'll do the whole roof. I don't know, get a minivan roof or something. Or we'll just frame it out for a giant sliding rag sunroof like this one. Only huge. Or we'll just leave it open. I don't know. I'm just happy it's not gonna fall apart on me anymore. So that's enough Model A for today. I'm gonna get back on this mini truck. I think we'll look at this gas pedal a little bit. Maybe we can get a throttle cable out to those carburetors. And it was super nice of past me to be thinking about present me, because I already put some studs in the firewall for this. So the placement of the pedal is already figured out. What we need to figure out today is where it's going to come through the firewall. Grab a hold of that carburetor. It would have been really nice if past me if I had done this a long time ago. Like before there was color in here. Yeah, it looks like we're about 2 fingers below the recess. So that'd be like here. That's actually pretty perfect. Now I don't see any reason why we wouldn't, but first thing I want to do is make sure we have enough travel on that pedal the way it is. So we'll measure where that thing is at idle. It's the hair under 7.5 is what that says. Full throttle, 5 7/8. What's 7.5 minus 5 7/8? It's 1.625, which would be 1 5/8. I know that. I know that because I have a calculator in my pocket. Now this pedal has 3 different holes in this arm. 1, 2, 3. So I have a little bit of adjustability in that. I think I'm going to start with the center hole. That way I can move it to the top one or move it to the bottom one. Moving those holes, that's going to affect the distance and the effort. So that top hole is going to be a longer throw, like a longer distance with less effort. And the bottom hole would be a shorter distance with more effort. Right? Or is that the other way around? Either way, we're going to put it in the middle one. So we'll go all the way to the firewall, just see what we have for distance here. And we got a whole lot more than 1 5/8. So we'll be good. I'm wrong. So that pedal is a whole lot further this way than I thought. It's right there. That's a big distance. Now how are we going to make up that distance? It's got to be way over here. We can maybe make a solid bracket off of this to move it over. I don't think I'd really like that too much. I'm worried that if we make a long bracket off to the side, that it's just going to want to twist too much. That honestly wouldn't be too bad. I mean, it's not like it takes that much effort to push the gas pedal. I don't think it would twist that much. We might have to go that route. Otherwise, we'd have to come out with the cable, and it can't bend that tight. So we'd have to loop it around. This is going to be more difficult than I thought. Well, I went ahead and just did it. I cut a 4-inch section of that round rod and welded it to the top of that. I don't really see any reason why that's not a good idea. It's really the only thing that I can come up with. We got this little tiny gusset. We're gonna weld that in there too. As far as the end here, where our cable's gonna attach to, I'm not quite sure yet because I don't know where my cable is. Found it. I was really getting worried. I thought I was gonna have to go to the store like AutoZone or something. But here we go, we got one. So this end looks like that, and it's made to go over this arm, and then the pin goes in the hole. I don't know if we want to make it attached to the end of this somehow, or make a little bracket off of that. I think maybe that's the way to go. So this piece of strap here is 3/16. And so is this. So I think we can cut out a little tab out of this and weld it to the end of this round rod. Basically mimic what they had here. I don't know if we need to do the 3 holes though. Probably just do 1. So that's what we have. Like I said, I don't know if we need to do all 3 holes, but maybe we do. Always good to have some adjustability. So it is 8 o'clock in the morning.
Great.
I'm not cutting that out yet. I try to be a respectful neighbor. So we'll continue on with this and get this little gusset welded in there. Got myself good that time. That'll hold it. So I could have drilled a hole in the firewall without modifying that gas pedal. It would have came out here. This would have just looped around to there. But that engine is sitting back pretty close to that firewall, and I don't know how much of a curve. Well, I guess. Yeah, it's just too close. That'd be way too tight of a bend. We can cut this out now. It is definitely late enough. So we'll weld that tab on like that, and then we'll trim that shorter. And what that should do is put us right about where we want to be. Should come out right about there. So it'll just kind of go up just a little bit. I'll be good with that. We got a little gusset for that side too. into the throttle cable, that should just slide right over that. Like so. Make sure we can pivot it. Right there should be good. Give her a marking. We gotta mark it on the other side. I can't get my drill in there right. Wants to go crooked. That's better. We'll give that a shot. I love these hyper step bits like butter. We're going to take one of these Scotch-Brite roll-lock discs, just kind of smooth that out a little bit. You're not going to be able to see any of it in the dash, but I don't want to paint over those 36 grit scratches either, because we'll end up painting this part. You don't want to leave it raw metal. It'll end up like all my cool metal stuff. Gone. That just needed a quick coat of primer, a little flat black paint, and it'll be just fine. Be dry enough to handle. Take this tape off of here because we don't need that anymore. All right, so in here we got the pedal kind of sitting there. So this pedal can come off of this and get clocked in any position, so that'll definitely help us out. Hey, get back on there. So what I'm trying to do is find out where we need to drill that hole. Doesn't look like it's going to be very easy from in here. But we'll mark it in here. If we gotta measure and figure out where to drill it from here, I guess we gotta do that. Where did I do that Sharpie? Why didn't you tell me? It was right there. We didn't have to get up or nothing. That ain't gonna work. How are we going to do this? We have a pretty precise mark right there, and it'd be kind of annoying to have to transfer that to the other side, you know, with measurements, and hope that it's right. I got an idea. How about a self-tapping screw and a skew awl, right? Skew awl, screwdriver. This right angle adapter thing. Sorry guys, my light on this camera died, but you can kind of see what we're doing, right? Kind of. You guys got to get out of my way. I can't get in here. Just watch from over here. Yeah, there we are. I'm gonna take that back out. We got a pre-drilled hole. Pre-drilled hole. So I ran this bit through that hole. Now we're gonna have to find what size it really needs to be. 5/16 will be a perfect fit. We'll try that one, but we might end up stepping it up to 21/64. I don't know, just because I like 64s. We gotta coat that hole with something. Try a paint marker here. That'll do just fine. Retake. Since I couldn't see if I really did a good job with that paint marker, I put a piece of tape on this side and spray painted it from the inside. So we're good. And you know what? Most people wouldn't even have done anything. They would have just left it bare metal. Why? I don't know, but so many people do. Maybe I'm just paranoid. I don't know. Overthinking it beats me. Well, that paint is drying in that hole. We can take this apart because we got to feed this through the hole and we got to cut it to length. This is way too long. On this end that hooks up to the carburetor, little set screw on it. Just loosen that guy, and then that pops off. Then this whole section here, that kind of threads onto this braided part, so that can come off. And this is what we're left with. That hooks up to the pedal. Hold on. Yeah, that's right. Except we got to pull this out because this is going to go in our hole from the engine side of the firewall. And these two will go in that way, and that will sandwich the firewall in there. We cut this to length. All right, yeah, that's how we do it. So this goes in that hole there, right? Right. It's still really too tight of a curve. I just don't know how I want to do this here. And we could drop it down there and go loop it around like that. I don't like that. That's dumb. That way. That's dumb. This is dumb. Honestly, I think probably do it like that. Come out and loop around. We're gonna test it. We're gonna put it exactly the way that I would like it and see if it works. If it doesn't work, then we start messing around with something that I'm not gonna like. What I'm gonna like is come out, up, and in. Just like that. Okay. Now we'll run our cable through it and see if it gets bound up. Seems to be okay so far. Yeah, I think this might work. I mean, we'll double check, make sure that it didn't move out there, but seems like it might be okay. We're just gonna do it. Just gonna cross our fingers. So this braided part goes into that sleeve about right there. So what I'm going to do is wrap this masking tape around that area. We're going to cut this off with a cutoff wheel. Make sure the hole is nice and clear in there. I'm gonna need some help with this one. Nice shirt.
Thanks.
I need you to hold this wrench here on that guy there. But here's the thing.
I can't hold it.
I'm very picky. My nuts cannot be crooked. Yes. Just make sure it's straight up and down and nice and where it should be. Right there. Got it?
Well, you just moved it, so yeah.
Okay. It takes forever because I'm moving the camera around more than I'm actually working. Oh crap! I need my nuts. Hold on.
Holding.
This is the right one. Okay. Got it?
Yeah. Quit moving it around.
Well, I have to. Okay, now I just gotta get my torque wrench. Just kidding.
Done?
No, you gotta hold that and let it cool down for about 20 minutes.
Tell you where you can shove that.
Thank you, dear.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shove that back on there. Nut on it. That doesn't look too bad there, does it? I don't think so. All right, now the cable we gotta shove in from the inside here. Before we go any further, I think it would be wise to hook that cable up to the pedal. There's a little pin, a little E-clip that I am super surprised I haven't lost yet. I'll pull that back through a little bit. Like that. Put the pin in it. Mr. E-clip. Oh, we're gonna need pliers or something for that. Dang it. Any of you old skateboarders from the early 90s remember when they tried selling E-clips to hold your wheels on? Like it was a new big thing? Man, that was horrible. I don't know how many times I'd land a trick and my wheel would just roll off into the distance. And I'd have to walk home because I only had 3 wheels on my skateboard and a lost E-clip. How dumb. Those were some strange times, I'll tell you what. Things were a-changing in the skateboard world and they weren't always the best ideas. Not sure they're the best idea for this either. This is a pain in my butt. Got it. Out here, this guy pops onto this little ball. And it'll go in there. We got the pedal pulled all the way up. There's going to be some adjustability in this later on. We're going to make a mark right there and cut this cable. Actually, we're just going to cut it. We're just going to go for it. Maybe not. Come on. Well, what the heck? Cutting too many things that I probably shouldn't be with those, I guess. There we go. This is where I was saying there was going to be adjustment later. We can loosen that up a little bit. Right now we got everything pretty much tight. So now this weird little clamp just goes on the end. It should hold everything together. Look at that. There we go. No, we don't. What the? There. Still ain't right. Well, that's dumb. That doesn't make any sense. If I give that a little squeeze with some pliers, that'll probably hold it. That just doesn't seem like a very good design there, but maybe once I squeeze it, it'll be fine. I'm just not gonna squeeze it yet. Well, that turned out all right. It works. I was a little concerned about how tight that bend was, but it seems to be doing all right, so we'll call that a win. LTsCustomGarage.com for merchandise, pinstripe art, and I'll see you next time.